Sup guys, Heeking here, bringing you a review on the latest Attack on Titan chapter. Now I did miss last month's release in terms of reviewing it, mostly because there wasn't a whole lot of new information that really got me giggly and excited. There was some, but not a lot. But if I had to do a really quickly recap, the chapter was called Liar, and I found that interesting because the whole theme of the chapter from last month pretty much was characters lying. Basically, you had Reiner, who was pretty much lying to himself and everyone else that he had ill feelings about the Wardanians, when in fact he was very much caring for them, remembering them as friends and such. You had Zeke, who was a liar because he brought all the Marlene Titans together in a room, saying that they were alone, they could talk, when in fact there was a saxophone set up there that leaked right to the command, and they were listening to everything they were saying, maybe trying to pick out to see if any of the Marlene Titans had doubts or other interests not in line with their point of view. You had Marcel, who got a bit more developed here, who was revealed as a liar because he actually got his brother out from becoming a Titan. Well, he did become a Titan essentially in the end, but he got out from being chosen, and in fact he managed to persuade a higher up powers to get Reiner picked instead. And he revealed that truth to Reiner and revealed that he was just doing this to protect his brother. And then of course you have Reiner's mom, who's revealed to be a liar because she went on and on about how their dad wanted to be with them, when in fact that's not the case at all. And yeah, Reiner met his dad, and he was revealed to be a liar because he lied about, he hasn't told anyone, he's lying to himself that he had a relationship with Reiner's mom, or maybe there was something going on there. We don't know what it is, we don't know what really on, was it rape, was it not? We don't know what's going on with that, but overall, Reiner's whole purpose of becoming a warrior and becoming a chosen Titan in the end was in vain. In the end, it led to nothing. He was never ever gonna get to become one with his dad, getting his mom and him and his dad to live as one family. His dad doesn't want anything to do with them, and yeah, that kind of just screwed up Reiner even more. And of course, the biggest information about that last month's chapter was the revelation of who the 9th Titan shifter was, which is the Tibian family, I believe, who are holding some sort of festival or celebration, and they are honorary Marlenians. Apparently they got a certain higher power in the Marlene country, which is very strange considering their group doesn't, and yet they do. So what does that mean for them? Are these guys secretly the ones controlling everything without anyone's knowledge, or what's going on? And why is the 9th Titan shifter called the Warhammer Titan? Is this a Titan that transforms and then forms a hammer in its hand? Does its hands transform into hammers? Why is it called the Warhammer Titan? Now I've got a theory on this, and bear with me, right? This is so I can just do this quick bit here, just in case it might happen in the future or not. Well, it would be a nice prediction of it not being true. So Attack on Titan, for the most part, has a lot of references to Norse mythology, right? What if the Warhammer Titan is pretty much sort of a reference to Thor, right? What if the ability to turn into the Warhammer Titan is solely run into the bloodline of the Tibian family, and the only way they can turn into Titans is by grabbing hold of some sort of hammer that transforms them into a Titan. Now, I know, bear with me, what I'm going here with is Mjolnir basically, or Thor's hammer. What if that exists, and the only people who can hold that hammer are the Tibian family, and thus they gain the ability to turn into this Warhammer Titan? Or maybe they turn into a Titan, and this Titan can pick up some sort of large-ass hammer that only they have access to. Maybe it's locked up in a vault or something. I don't know. It's just very curious that the chosen words here are Warhammer Titan. It seems to be very specific that, it's a hammer. And if you guys remember, like very early on, I think in chapter 90 maybe, there was some sort of painting of these Titans, and one of them was a Titan with a Viking helmet and a hammer. It looked like Thor, I believe. So maybe that was a reference to that. I don't know, but it's certainly interesting. This month's chapter, let's get into this month's chapter then. I think it was called The Gate of Hope. Well, we pretty much start off where we left off, which is seeing Marcel getting eaten for the 100th time. So at the very end of last month's chapter had Marcel getting in and pushing Reiner out of the way. These guys were completely unaware that they were camping on top of Ymir's Titan, which woke up and grabbed Reiner. Well, it tried to grab Reiner. Marcel pushed him out of the way, as we all know, and he was the one that got eaten. Anyway, this chapter starts with Reiner running for his life, and getting found by Annie and Bertold afterwards, and Annie just beating the shit out of him, and pretty much telling him that he fucked up. Like, if they hadn't run away, they could have just transformed and tried to save Marcel, or even at least recovered the Jaw Titan. And Annie makes the point that they should just quit the mission, go back and find the Jaw Titan while she's in her human form now, and get her out. Of course, Raina makes the whole point that they can't do that because, you know, chick, whoever just transformed back into their human self would likely use that power now to, you know, kill them, basically, making the point that, you know, Bertold managed to learn how to become the Colossus Titan immediately as well, so they shouldn't do that. And of course, N is like, they might as well just quit and go back home. And Raina blackmail them, basically saying that if they do, they'll probably be killed. And even though he'll likely be the one killed mostly, they'll probably, you know, kill Annie and Bertold as well for failing misery as well and not doing anything. So yeah, he's probably got them. He pretty much got them by the balls, and he forces these guys to pretty much continue on with the mission despite them being very tired and exhausted and shocked and damaged now at the point because their leader is pretty much dead. And Raina at this point takes over of Marcel's duties, and we kind of see that soldier personality that he would later develop, which is pretty much, in a way, Marcel's personality, the big brother trying to protect everyone. So we do get the perspective of these guys arriving outside the walls, and we actually see how this entire plan happened. Now, we were already told how it happened with Annie, you know, turning into the female Titan and luring the Titans towards the wall, and we actually see that happen. Of course, the Jaw Titan was meant to be there to help out as well, and because it's only Annie doing all of this, she gets exhausted immediately and transforms back. And Raina transforms into the Armor Titan and carries Bertold and Annie towards the wall. You know, sets Bertold down and has him transform. He transforms into the Colossal Titan, and we see from their perspective how this wall was destroyed. Finally, after all these months, we finally get to see this perspective. We see Bertold in his colossal form looking down. He even sees a young Eren, Mikasa, and Armin. There's a moment of hesitation there, of course. These guys, they aren't aware that these guys know nothing about them, right? These guys are fully convinced that the Idalians are devils, and etc, etc. At one point, you even have Annie saying that she doesn't give a shit about the Marlins of the Idalians. She just wants to get back home to her dad. But obviously, it makes you basically aware that all the propaganda has corrupted these guys. They had no idea what they were getting into. They had no idea what they were doing. And yeah, we pretty much see the wall getting destroyed. We see Raina nearly get eaten by Titans and make an escape. We see Dina's Titan, by the way, being the first Titan to walk into Tross District. I believe it is Tross District, isn't it? Or Shingangashi, sorry, District. And walking and ignoring Bertold and going straight in. Obviously, that connection that probably held her to Grisha, pulling her forward. And yeah, we see Bertold getting saved. We see Raina scaling the wall, these two there. And obviously from then on we know what happened next, because he lays Bertold and Annie on top of the wall, and he goes down and breaks the other wall as well. And yeah, from then on we can pretty much put the pieces together of how the events continued on. But we then cut back to the aftermath, of course. You know, Annie is on a bed, she's inside. If you guys remember, in the anime, we actually caught a glimpse of Annie after the aftermath in the refugee camps. A lot of people were a bit like, wait, what's going on there? It was just something they added in. But no, this is Isayama again working with the anime team to extend or put in things he couldn't do in the manga. And this sort of ties that up links that up with the anime, the manga linking of the anime basically, which is very clever, which is very nice, and it's a nice confirmation as well. But yeah, these guys are there in the refugee camp. Eren, Mikasa, and Armin are like beds away from them as well. These guys just sitting talking, saying that now, you know, they just gotta wait for the king to just show up and do something. Of course, he hasn't shown up, and 2 years pass, and in those 2 years, these guys pretty much learn that, yeah, the main king, or the guy they think is the king, holds no power. The actual people of the founding Titan are somewhere else. They can't get to those guys because the only people that can go into those walls are girls. So Annie's the only one going in and out getting this information, while Bertold and Raina are there working in the fields. They also meet this man who's the last survivor of his village, who ends up committing suicide because he's the last one there. He lost everyone he loved, which is basically, he tells them basically the story that Bertold would end up using to tell Eren about what their backstory is. So yeah, these guys using the information of a poor guy who killed himself to disguise themselves, to use a fake story basically to integrate themselves into the society. So yeah, it's very sad, very damaging, but again, it kind of shows the mental breakdown these guys went through. I mean, from the moment they broke through the wall, from the moment they got through, you know, nothing's turned out the way they expected. Everything they believed in is pretty much a lie at this point. They know they've screwed up. They know they just, they're guilty as shit. And you see them, constantly crying as well. They didn't want to do this. They didn't want to be killers. They had no choice. They screwed up. It is what it is, and they got to deal with it. They got to deal with the consequences. And we see these guys pretty much coming up the plan that they are going to, train and become soldiers so they can enter the military police, which was the original goal, of course, until Eren was revealed as a Titan, at which point their objective completely changed, with Reina and Bertold deciding to remain in the survey corps to try and capture him instead, while Annie continued on being a military police and gathering information just in case that Eren did not turn out to be the founding Titan. But yeah, all the information that we had, all the curiosity that we had regarding what their motives were, how things happened, how they occurred, have now been answered. This chapter pretty much ends with these guys joining the survey corps at the training regiment. We see them going there. So, at this point, one can assume that next month's chapter is going to continue with this perspective. A lot of people are now, I think, are starting to get tired, of course, that we are not seeing the main characters or the Wardarians, but I think we're going to be getting to that soon, at least by the end of this year. I think I've been saying it a while now. I do think that we're not going to see anything from the main characters, at least present time, anytime soon, until chapter 100 or the end of chapter 99. I think that is going to be the pivotal point when this arc ends, and then we get the final arc, perhaps. At the moment, the assumption is that this manga is going to end with chapters 110. I'm still predicting now that it's going to be chapters 120 with 30 volumes. That is my prediction anyway, so latest is 2019 now. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see how that all goes up. With the way things are going now, things are getting answered, yes, but they're also going very slow. But things are being set in motion in terms of where the structure of the story and tone is going to go next. So yeah, we know Reina and them lot are now in the survey corps. We're always going to get that perspective on things. And we're probably going to see, what's his name, Marlowe's death. Is it Marlowe? We're probably going to see his death for the second or third time, I think. So there's that. And yeah, it's going to be very curious where the story is then going to go after that. We know we got this festival with the Tabia family there. Zeke and them lot are going to go and talk to them or something, maybe try and get help perhaps, or information. I don't know what that is, how that all is going to conclude, but it's going to be very interesting to see. But yeah, for now, Attack on Titan doing what it's doing best, giving us some plot, developing some of these characters, and officially making Reina into this protagonist. He's pretty much gone from being an antagonist to a protagonist. I think even Isayama did an interview just a few weeks ago where he pretty much said that yeah, he's a protagonist now. So yeah, Reina's definitely one of the main characters. I mean, this guy has pretty much changed completely, and this entire Marlene arc has been there to not only develop Annie, Bertold and Marcel in a small way, and the other Marlenians and their side, but also greatly develop Reina as a character and make us understand him more, and basically sort of feel for him as well. Yes, yeah, remember these guys killed a whole bunch of people, but they were children who were brainwashed. These guys had no idea what they were doing beforehand. I mean, they're mentally broken and insane in terms of what happened from then on there. And now we're kind of seeing the repercussions and consequences of how that's breaking Reina's mind. It's going to be very curious to see what will happen if Annie ever comes back to the story. We're still waiting for her, but it's great to see her in these flashbacks as well. So, at least we're getting some Annie moments here. But yeah, overall, very sad chapter again as a whole. Very interesting in terms of the perspectives and how it all went down. And yeah, I can't wait to see what happens next. And yeah, that's I can't really predict anything else really. I mean, at this point, it's just like I said, it's just a flashback. It's there's nothing there from the present time and like other chapters. So we're gonna have to wait till next month, and hopefully we'll get something there that's gonna move the story a bit more forward. For now, my only prediction is the TBL family maybe having a different unique power there. I'm very curious what the Warhammer Titan looks like and does, and what that means, why it's called that. And I'm very curious if Isayama's gonna put in any more elements of Norse mythology in here. I do kind of predict that maybe one of the final things that this manga is going to do is that maybe we'll get the revelation that there's some sort of giant ass Titan living on the ground that can be woken up. Maybe that will represent the Midgard serpent or something, because I'm very curious about how much of the Norse mythology they're going to try and use to implement into here. But yeah, as a whole, decent chapter. Can't wait for next month. And as always, guys, like and subscribe wherever, and I shall see you when I shall see you. Take care and bye.